Who will guide the Catholic Church into its next phase? The election of a new pope is a significant event, one that not only influences the faith of billions but also impacts global political and religious dynamics. Can you imagine babies being born right now, and things that are happening on the news at this very moment will be impacted by the next pope? It's a powerful decision. That's why, as the Church confronts contemporary challenges, including advocating for social justice and protecting religious freedoms, three prominent figures emerge as potential successors to Pope Francis. Those three are Cardinal Pietro Parolin, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, and Cardinal Robert Sarah. Each of these cardinals, with their unique experiences and visions, stands at a pivotal moment in history, where their leadership could shape the Church's future for generations. Stay with us as we delve into who might be the next pope and how their influence could mold the Church's direction. Before we explore these top three contenders further, make sure to subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you'll stay informed with the latest analysis on the upcoming papal election. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss any exclusive updates on this monumental occasion. The diplomat, Cardinal Pietro Parolin. Cardinal Pietro Parolin embodies the essential qualities the Catholic Church needs in its next leader, combining intellectual depth, spiritual wisdom, and an extraordinary capacity for diplomacy. Born on January 17, 1955 in Schiavone, a modest town in Italy's Veneto region, Parolin's early life was shaped by a humble upbringing. Growing up in a devout Catholic family, he learned the values of hard work, simplicity, and an unwavering commitment to service. These values guided him through his early education and eventually to the prestigious Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome, where he pursued advanced theological studies. His ordination as a priest on April 27, 1980, marked the beginning of a lifetime dedicated to the mission of the Church. However, what sets Cardinal Parolin apart from many of his peers is his extensive career in international diplomacy, a field where his talents truly shine. In 1986, he entered the Vatican's diplomatic service, a role that required not only deep theological understanding, but also a profound grasp of global politics and human rights. His early postings to regions such as Nigeria and Mexico, areas burdened by political instability, social inequality, and economic challenges, gave him first-hand experience in navigating the complex relationship between religion and governance. During these years, Parolin demonstrated his ability to mediate delicate issues, advocating for social justice and peace in regions marked by turmoil. In each of these diplomatic assignments, Parolin's calm, composed demeanor and keen negotiating abilities allowed him to build bridges between conflicting parties. His approach was marked by compassion, but also a firmness in upholding the Church's teachings and values. His ability to maintain this delicate balance earned him the trust of governments, civil society, and the Vatican hierarchy alike, and soon his reputation as a skilled diplomat spread beyond ecclesiastical circles. This international experience culminated in his appointment as Secretary of State by Pope Francis in 2013, the second highest position in the Vatican hierarchy. In this critical role, Parolin became the Church's chief diplomat, responsible for managing its relations with states around the world. His portfolio included advocating for human rights, mediating in conflict zones, and engaging with leaders on issues such as climate change, immigration, and religious freedom. His efforts in places like the Middle East and Latin America, regions rife with religious persecution and political unrest, have made him a well-respected figure on the global stage. His work often involved sensitive negotiations behind the scenes, showing his ability to navigate highly volatile situations without compromising on the Church's moral teachings. As Secretary of State, Parolin has consistently demonstrated that the role of the Pope is not limited to spiritual guidance alone. It also requires diplomatic finesse, the ability to engage with world leaders, and a comprehensive understanding of global issues. Under his leadership, the Vatican has positioned itself as a key player in addressing international crises, such as the refugee crisis in Europe, peace efforts in war-torn regions, and campaigns for climate justice. Parolin's diplomatic approach is characterized by a firm commitment to peace, justice, and unity, principles deeply rooted in his faith. His background in diplomacy, combined with his theological insight and deep compassion, makes him an ideal candidate for the papacy. In a world where the Catholic Church is increasingly called upon to address global challenges that span continents and cultures, Parolin's expertise in international relations provides a critical advantage. He understands that in today's interconnected world, the Church must engage with political, social, and economic issues while maintaining its spiritual mission. His steady hand in navigating these complex matters makes him a trusted leader, capable of guiding the Church through turbulent times. For many, Parolin represents the hope of a pope who can not only lead spiritually, but also act as a global statesman, influencing world affairs in ways that promote peace and the common good. His vision of the Church embraces openness, dialogue, and cooperation with the broader world, without compromising on its core values. As the Catholic Church continues to face pressing global issues such as political instability, social injustice, and moral dilemmas, Parolin's leadership could offer the type of compassionate and diplomatic guidance that is needed to steer the Church forward. His blend of humility, intellectual rigor, and international diplomacy positions him as a leader who can both uphold the traditions of the Church and lead it into a new era of engagement with the modern world. Advocate for the poor Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, born on June 21, 1957 in Manila, Philippines, stands out as one of the most influential and beloved figures within the modern Catholic Church. Known for his profound empathy, charismatic personality, and unwavering commitment to social justice, Tagle has emerged as a symbol of compassion and inclusivity within the global Church. His journey began at the prestigious Ateneo de Manila University, where his theological foundation was established. It was during this time that his passion for serving marginalized communities began to blossom. Eager to deepen his understanding of faith and service, Tagle continued his theological studies in Rome, where he earned a doctorate in sacred theology. Ordained as a priest in 1982, Tagle's early ministry was defined by his relentless dedication to the poor and disenfranchised. He was not content with merely preaching from the pulpit. Rather, he immersed himself in the lives of those he served, often walking alongside the most vulnerable in society. His hands-on approach to ministry earned him the admiration of both his peers and the people he ministered to. Tagle's deep connection to the poor and marginalized was not just an aspect of his ministry, it became the cornerstone of his spiritual identity. In 2001, Tagle was appointed Bishop of Imus, a role that allowed him to further cultivate his pastoral vision. As bishop, he continued to focus on walking with the people, ensuring that the Church remained deeply embedded in the everyday struggles of its community. His work went beyond offering spiritual guidance. He was equally invested in providing practical solutions to the issues faced by the poor. Whether it was advocating for better housing, addressing food insecurity, or offering educational support, Tagle's leadership reflected a church that was committed to both faith and action. In 2011, Tagle's leadership trajectory reached new heights when he was appointed Archbishop of Manila, one of the most influential dioceses in Asia. In this role, he became a powerful advocate for those whose voices had long been silenced by poverty, corruption, and social inequality. His speeches and homilies during this period resonated far beyond the Philippines as he tackled the root causes of social injustices, not just their symptoms. Tagle often addressed the systemic nature of poverty and inequality, urging both the Church and society to look deeper into the structures that perpetuate these issues. His advocacy extended beyond religious teachings. It included mobilizing the Church to respond swiftly and effectively to natural disasters and social crises, further solidifying his reputation as a leader committed to compassion in action. Tagle's influence was not confined to the Philippines for long. In 2019, Pope Francis recognized his talents and appointed him prefect of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples, a position that places him at the heart of the Church's missionary work. As prefect, Tagle oversees the Church's efforts in regions where Catholicism is expanding rapidly, particularly in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. His personal background gives him a unique perspective on the challenges and opportunities in these areas, where many people live in poverty and face significant social and economic hardships. Tagle's deep understanding of these contexts allows him to connect with communities on a personal level, pushing the Church's mission forward in ways that are both meaningful and impactful. Under Tagle's leadership, the Church has not only focused on spreading the faith, but also on addressing the social and economic inequalities that often plague the regions it serves. His leadership signals a shift toward a more compassionate and socially aware Church, one that is not just concerned with spiritual matters, but also deeply engaged in the social realities of its followers. Tagle's commitment to inclusion and justice is evident in his work, as he emphasizes the importance of a church that welcomes all, regardless of social standing, ethnicity, or background. Tagle's pastoral style, characterized by humility, accessibility, and genuine care for others, has made him especially appealing to younger generations. In a world where many young people are disillusioned with traditional institutions, Tagle's authenticity and willingness to engage with pressing social issues resonate deeply. He embodies a model of leadership that is both approachable and deeply committed to the Church's mission of serving the least of these. His leadership style invites people, particularly the youth, to see the Church not as a distant authority, but as a compassionate community walking alongside them in their struggles. As the global community grapples with complex challenges such as climate change, economic inequality, and displacement, Tagle's vision for the Church is increasingly relevant. He offers a model of leadership that is both spiritually grounded and socially responsible, emphasizing the Church's role in addressing these global crises. Tagle understands that the Church cannot remain silent in the face of these issues. Instead, it must lead by example, showing how faith can inspire action toward a more just and equitable world. Cardinal Tagle's rise within the Church reflects not just his personal talents and spiritual insight, but also a broader shift in the Church's focus. His leadership represents a future where the Church is not only a beacon of faith but also a leading voice in advocating for the dignity and rights of all people. As the Catholic Church looks to the future, Tagle's combination of empathy, intellect, and action offers a hopeful vision for a Church that is truly for the people, especially those who need it the most. Guardian of Tradition, Cardinal Robert Sarah. Cardinal Robert Sarah, born on June 15, 1945, in Arouse, Guinea, is known for his staunch defense of tradition and unwavering commitment to the Catholic faith. Growing up in a devout Catholic family, Sarah's early life was marked not only by his spiritual upbringing but also by the political instability that gripped Guinea. These challenging circumstances shaped his path toward the priesthood, instilling in him a profound sense of duty and moral clarity. Ordained in 1969, Sarah quickly rose to prominence, emerging as a steadfast leader during a period of dictatorship and religious persecution in his homeland. His reputation for moral strength and resilience was cemented during this time, as he fearlessly upheld the Church's values despite the oppressive environment. Sarah's dedication to the Church's mission of peace and justice, even under the most challenging conditions, distinguished him as a man of principle. His leadership extended beyond the spiritual realm when in 2001, he was appointed president of the Pontifical Council Cor Unum. In this role, Sarah led the Church's global charitable efforts, mobilizing resources during humanitarian crises. His deep compassion and strategic ability to respond to disasters and conflicts showcased his commitment to serving the vulnerable and those in desperate need. In 2014, Sarah was appointed prefect of the Congregation for Divine Worship and the Discipline of the Sacraments, a role in which he became a prominent advocate for the preservation of traditional liturgy. His defense of the Latin Mass and emphasis on contemplative prayer reflect his belief that the Church's strength lies in its historical roots and spiritual depth. While some critics have labeled his views as conservative, Sarah's unwavering dedication to maintaining the Church's core teachings has resonated with many who are concerned that the Church's identity may be diluted in an increasingly secular world. Sarah's leadership, however, is not merely focused on looking back. It is about preserving the Church as a moral beacon in an ever-evolving world. His experience navigating political unrest and his focus on deepening the Church's spiritual foundations make him a compelling candidate to guide the Church through the challenges of the modern era. Sarah embodies a leadership that seeks to balance tradition with relevance, ensuring the Church remains a guiding force for future generations. As the Catholic Church prepares for its next papal election, it faces a critical decision. Cardinal Pietro Parolin's diplomatic expertise, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle's commitment to social justice, and Cardinal Robert Sarah's dedication to tradition each offer distinct paths for the future. The College of Cardinals' decision will shape the Church's role in the world for years to come, and the outcome will influence how the Church engages with the pressing issues of today. Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on this historic election and its impact on the future of the Church. Make the background music chill.